What is up, guys? And it is finally here. We've got our first look at Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. We've got a reveal trailer, and as the Respawn guys on the panel said, this is more story focused rather than showing you any full-on combat or gameplay. This is just rendered with the game engine that's going to be used when the game comes out. So let's get into it. We start off with a look at our protagonist. His name is Cal, as it was leaked, I believe, beforehand, and he's covered his face up. He's clearly trying to hide, as the slogan said on one of the reveal photos. Don't stand out. He's trying to hide. He doesn't want to let anyone know that he's a Jedi, as they're clearly being hunted down and trying to be made extinct.
Wasn't always like this.
Cal referencing it wasn't always like this. Obviously, I don't know how soon after Order 66 this is made, but I assume it will pick up exactly where it leaves off, as you'll see later in this trailer. And that means his entire environment, the entire world around him, has changed so drastically. He suddenly can't live in peace within the Galactic Republic. He's got to stay hidden, stay low, and just survive without the newly formed Empire catching up to him. And he's on a train, it seems, or at least a transport ship. It looks kind of like the ships that fly over, at least travel over Coruscant, so he might be, we don't know about that, but he could well be just travelling, trying to get out of there after Order 66 has occurred.
But now, there are 3 rules.
There's just general unrest among the entire galaxy, as you just see a little bit of a squabble happening between two inhabitants.
To survive.
The graphics in this game look absolutely phenomenal. I mean, did we ever expect anything less from a Star Wars game? They must have been funded well. But yeah, it's really something to appreciate.
Don't stand out. Accept the past.
And this clip is exactly what I put up in a video just a couple hours ago. We saw on EA Star Wars' Instagram page. I believe it is still the Clone Wars era Star Destroyer, as we'll see again later in this trailer. Cal is opening it. Could well have been him himself, just unlocking it from the outside, and that's just because the door hasn't been open for a while and the ship's kind of in an irreparable state. But inside it is a ship, and it's the same class ship that Yoda, the hero starfighter from Yoda in Battlefront 2, and Anakin and Obi-Wan in their initial assault on Grievous's ship at the start of Revenge of the Sith. It's that same one, and it even has an astromech droid. I'm not sure if it is R2 or not. It looks kind of blue and white to match in with the color paint scheme of the starfighter itself. So it could be R2, it could be R2E7, it could be a same R2, but not D2 that we know. We now see him in a shady area, which hopefully, I really hope, is underground, like an underground shady area of Coruscant. We see it for a tiny bit in Attack of the Clones, but it'll be just interesting to see like the seedy underbelly of a city that's just started to be torn apart. And you see a stormtrooper in the background. They're clearly searching around for any possible threats, make sure that they eliminate them as soon as possible. But this makes me think that maybe it's not as soon after Order 66 occurs as you think, because they've very quickly produced a lot of stormtrooper outfits in a short amount of time. If this is a scene from immediately after Order 66 is happening. We see he's chatting to a friend in the bar, and we see a bit more of this guy later, and it's not too great for him. He's got to try and hide in plain sight, which is exactly what I wanted from this game. Where he's just got to act natural, just make it seem like he's not a threat to any stormtroopers. And I mean, he doesn't exactly look like a fully grown adult who's gonna just run over and start brawling with stormtroopers, so it's not as difficult as you might wonder. But Padawans are being taken out, so he's definitely a target, as is everyone at this point.
Trust.
He locks eyes with a stormtrooper. I mean, he's absolutely paranoid. He can't trust anyone, and just a lovely gonk droid appears in front, which it's lovely to see. But yes, stormtroopers, they're scanning everyone. The stormtrooper probably thinks a lot less of this than Cal does, But Cal is just so paranoid he can't trust anyone, and he doesn't want to take a gamble that the stormtrooper knows who he is.
No one.
We then see a scene of him with a Viper probe droid, as seen on Hoth in Episode 5, and he seems to be part of a scavenging group as they are slicing apart with lasers this early Clone Wars era Star Destroyer.
Bring it in!
They're just slicing off one of the wings. And it seems like a many people operation, but maybe because it's happening at night, they're trying to avoid the Imperial threat and avoid having any interference, because maybe they're not supposed to be doing this. I believe, actually, in the bottom left of this screen, you can see the silhouette of an 8080. You can see an early walker. So maybe he's working with the Imperials and he's trying to help them out, because those walkers look like they're trying to protect this base or this area, and maybe it's just that they're being forced to work rather than you'd work rather than get killed, wouldn't you? And now these wires snap.
The galaxy's changed.
Yeah, look out!
If there are more set pieces like this in the game, it'll be just great to watch. It just looks graphics look great. I'm very excited to play this game. Cal is saved by what looks like just some lucky wire, unless he's used the Force, which he could well have done, just to influence the wire into saving him. But his friend doesn't look like he's going to be quite as lucky. That looks like a Sarlacc beneath, with the teeth. I mean, it doesn't have the mouth that was added in post-production for Return of the Jedi, but his friend looks like he's about to die.
Whatever you do, don't.
And maybe the Viper probe droid is there, because, like with the walkers are there, because the Imperials are just watching over their workers to make sure that they're not acting up in any way.
Reach within.
But Cal says, don't reach within. And then he reaches out his arm, and he is, what I believe he's doing, is reaching out to save his new alien friend from a pretty painful death. And I liken this scene to Magneto in X-Men Apocalypse. I wouldn't recommend going and watching it unless you have spare time on your hands. But basically Magneto's blending in, and he hasn't used his powers, but then someone looks like they're going to get crushed by metal, so he saves them from it and it exposes him. And I wonder if that's what Cal's going to do, and then he's going to have to figure out how to escape this area with all this Imperial reinforcement. And that could be where stealth comes in, because he doesn't exactly want to get into a one-on-one fight against 3-4 88 STs. And then we see what can only be described as an Inquisitor. I believe they're there to hunt down any Jedi that are remaining. And it has a stare-off. We think it has a stare-off with Cal. Cal could be seeing something else that we don't know, and it's just editing. But yes, they seem to know. Cal's immediately wanting to leave. And we see some stormtroopers firing their weapons. I'm not sure. Hang on. Right, I'm sorry for being not very eloquent, but that looks like a K-2S0 droid on the left-hand corner of this screen. I'm not sure. I mean, they're just assistance droids, I guess, to the stormtroopers. I doubt this one's going to help you as much as K-2S0 did. But yes, that's a little thing you might not have noticed. I'm not sure what planet this is. They did say they'd be introducing many new characters and new planets to this, as well as existing ones. So here's Cal trying to make an escape. You can see that the K-2S0 droid again on these rocks to the left, and Cal is dodging laser fire as he wall runs. So maybe this game is going to have... I assumed this game is going to be third person, and so I stand by that, but Titanfall's wall running mechanics, they were sound as anything, so that could definitely be translated over into this game into a third person. And I'm not sure, he's reached out his arm as if he's using the Force there, and he may well have used the Force to pull himself towards, because that object, Cal clearly doesn't look like he's powerful enough to pull an entire structure like that off. So maybe rather than pulling that structure, he's pulling himself towards it and onto it to make sure he reaches it.
Stand out.
And this is what I was talking about saying how soon after after Order 66 is, you see his droid companion here, but you also see what is a fallen clone soldier. This could be Dagobah, this could be Kashyyyk, one of them, and he has a ring or a symbol of some sort, and it is in fact a hologram projector.
Past. Execute.
containing the message of Order 66, of Darth Sidious asking them to execute it. Or not asking, this is a serious order. But that could well be the Clone War that Cal and his master have killed when Execute Order 66 has just been told to the clones. They've turned on them, but Cal and his master have managed to defend themselves, and now they understand why the clone did what he did.
Order 66.
We then see him meditating on a red planet. I'd love to say this is Mustafar, but I have no idea. I don't want to be insane and say that his robot isn't his Jedi Master, but yeah, it just looks like a companion that's with him. But we don't see a single glimpse of his master, so he could well be dead. Just a moon in the background, we only see one, so we don't know what that means, but we've got Cal's ship as well in the background, which we see him leap onto later. I wonder if campfires will have a similar thing as in Dark Souls, where you've just got it's more of a save point, or if this is just a cutscene of him settling down, finally having a breather after running from the Empire for so long. We then see what should be an Inquisitor with a staff like the Magna Guards from Episode 3. I wonder if this guy will keep fighting when his head comes off, but again, we've got to have some guys with some serious who can go against us in melee combat, and so this is very interesting. But as they continue dueling, Cal is without his lightsaber at this point, and he is getting pushed back towards a fan. But he in fact uses that. We don't see what he uses it for, but he's trying to stop the fan so he can escape, or pull the fan towards his enemy, or push off the fan so he gets a bit of leverage against his enemy. We then see a new character. I don't know what their name is. I am recording this immediately after the trailers come out, so I'm missing part of the respawn panel, so we might see what this character's name is during that. But so as far as it goes, this is a new character, one of Cal's friends, maybe his master, but I assume it's just someone who he's met. And then we see his ship again. This is next to the Clone Wars Star Destroyer. It's the wreckage of it.
No one.
And you see Cal running across and leaping into his ship. He seems to have made it, because he's then with an alien-looking species next to him, who could well be the pilot, who's helping them escape. But then we see the Inquisitor, who Cal must have thought he'd escaped from, jump up onto the front of the ship, onto the windscreen, and this Inquisitor clearly seems to have some force powers, as it is pressuring on the glass, and it might well be about to break its way in. Well, yeah, as the glass cracks, he's definitely trying to use the force to break in. Whether he does or not, or whether he gets thrown off the plane before that happens, we will know. We won't know yet, though. We'll know when the game comes out.
Trust. Only.
And then we see Cal looking at his lightsaber, the same one from that first teaser image, which it's still broken in half here, and he turns it on. I wonder if that's the same scene or not. But if it's a functional lightsaber at this point, my own theory and my hope is that once he fixes that becomes a double-bladed lightsaber, and you're introduced to a whole new combat style, and it would just be amazing.
In the Force.
Yes, he ignites his lightsaber, and we see the title card, Jedi Fallen Order. I couldn't be more excited about this if I wanted to. It's just become a Jedi, and the release date, the 15th of November 2019. We expected that. The 17th of November was when both Battlefront games came out, and so that seems to be definitely a window where Star Wars games are getting released now. But that is my breakdown. If you have new information on this that I haven't mentioned, let me know in the comments, and if you're excited for Jedi Fallen Order, leave a like, and thank you for watching.